Next up on the 515 Real to Real podcast, where we discuss film, television, and all things related to the industry, we have a segment that I'm truly excited about. We'll be going behind the scenes, talking to the creatives behind the camera. Our first guest is a storyteller whose work you've probably seen but didn't even know it. He's worked on some of television's largest franchises, such as the CBS comedy drama God Friend and Me, All Rise, SEAL Team, multiple shows within the NCIS universe, and currently he's working on Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. His award-winning short film, These Final Hours, proves just how much he can captivate an audience in just a short amount of time.
It's our pleasure to introduce an incredible individual who has made a significant impact in our journey. Lionel Coleman is more than just our first guest. He's a friend, a brother, and a trusted advisor. His generosity, wisdom, and unwavering support have meant the world to us, and we're thrilled to have him here to share his experiences and expertise with our audience. As a director, creative, and friend, he embodies the spirit of collaboration and community that we're passionate about.
So here today to talk about his journey, his craft, and what's next, we have our friend, visionary, director, cinematographer, and creative, our friend, Lionel Coleman.
What's going on, Lionel?
What's up, JT? What's up, Bruce? You guys make me sound much bigger and better than I really am. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, we're just telling the truth, man.
Yeah.
We're just telling the truth. That's all we're doing.
So
Well, thank you too very, very much.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
So how are things going with you?
Very good. For me right now, I'm on hiatus. I did 10 episodes the last season, and each episode takes about, 24 to 28 days to get done. And, those times take a lot out of you. And right now I'm on hiatus. And during this time, in my field, what you try to do as a director, we're all independent contractors. You try to have some of your season lined up before your other seasons end. So for me, I knew going into it that I was going to be returning to Elsbeth. They told me just as I was finishing the season finale that we want to have you back again for the season finale, plus one other episode. So I was very fortunate enough to be returning to that show. I'm also going to be returning for 2 episodes to a show called NCIS Origins. And I'm currently working on trying to get back to whatever Raising Kanan turned out to be. Season 5 will be the 5th and final season. So the thing that I really liked about that particular show was the period that it was taking place in. I was growing up in New York at the time, so the music, the clothes, the cars, even the trouble that one could get into were all very familiar to me. And so I was really trying to track down Sasha Penn because he's the guy that you're going to have to gain the approval of to get an episode. And it took a while, but I stayed on like JT would advise me to do. And we finally got a meeting. And so literally about an hour after that, my agent and manager called me together and said, "Hey, you just booked Raising Kanan." And I was, kind of blown away, but still you don't totally know what it takes to do one of those episodes. So I remember driving back in the van and I'm like, "Hey, David, so what's your pattern budget for this show?" And he says, "Usually they want us to stay between like 7 million or 8, but oftentimes like your episode's going to be 10 million. You have a big episode."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Oh my God." When you look at American fiction, that director was saying, instead of more big budget movies, we should do smaller budget movies, like mine for $10 million. And I'm like, bro, I'm spending that on one episode. And then in the midst of this, really trying like mad to get a documentary project off the ground based on Chief Madera Arredondo. Some know him as Rondo. He has a new book out. He was the former Minneapolis police chief who was in charge during the murder of George Floyd.
Man, that's amazing. That's great. It's always great to hear and see you doing great things, man. You have always been an inspiration to us. The way I fell in love with your work, man, was from God Friended Me. I was a part of that universe, and I loved it, and the show was just amazing. And just to meet you, Jess, and to have you become a part of our world and give us insight and give us knowledge, it was amazing. You didn't know me from the man on the moon, but you just took to me. Once you met Bruce and I, you was just like, hey man, whatever you need, you were there for us. And so we really do appreciate that.
For sure. We've definitely learned a lot working with you, Lionel.
Yeah.
Well, I often hear young people coming up talking about, I can't do this, or this is too difficult, or I won't be able to do this, or how do I do it? And Johnny, you reached out to me on Instagram just as a fan of God Friended Me. And I remember being kind of captivated by your direct messages, and we became Instagram friends. And then you were like, hey, I have a project. My partner and I want to talk to you about it. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this guy? But he's super persistent, but not in a bad way. It was just sort of persistent in a good way. And, you know, manipulating the narrative to where it was more about, hey, I have something that both of us, all three of us can work on. And I said, hey, as soon as I'm finished with all this stuff that I'm working on, hit me back. And you did. You were like, hey, you said to hit you back right around this time. So we finally had a conversation. And, you learn quickly, for me anyway, that good ideas come from anywhere, and anyone, and you can't afford to turn a blind eye to it just because we may not be in the same geographical location on the map. So, yeah, you should be giving class to people coming up in this industry that you don't have to live in the shadows of Hollywood in order to be amongst the entertainment industry. So,
We're going to get into some questions here that I know we want to know. We
And the
want to share
audience
it with
wants to
our
know, of
audience as well. So the first question is, what sparked your interest in filmmaking, and how did you get your start in the industry?
I'm not sure if I ever shared this story with you too or not, but I went to college on a whim. I was in high school, senior, not really sure I was going to even go to college. And I grew up in New York, but the final year and a half of my high school was in San Francisco because my father had moved us out there. So, and at the time, my father was having just some financial, as a family, we're having financial difficulties. And I had left my Catholic school to go to public school to try to help out. So I really wasn't thinking about college because I knew, we couldn't really afford it. And I didn't even know another path to pay for college. But my PE teacher said, hey, you look like a pretty good athlete. You should come and try out for our team. It's at a junior college, City College of San Francisco. And, if you make the team, there's a chance you might be able to earn a scholarship and, pay for a 4-year college. So it intrigued me enough. And I ended up going on and playing football there, and then getting a tuition and book scholarship to go to UC Berkeley. But at the time, I still didn't really know truly what I wanted to do. But I did not love football enough to stick with it. I think I expected immediate gratification without having to do all the work. And as you know, that doesn't really happen in sports or anything really. But so I left school and I got a job as a security guard at a television station in San Francisco. It was the CBS television station. And being at the front desk, I would see cameramen coming in and out all the time. And there was a black cameraman, guy named Joe Smith. And I asked him one time if I could go out and ride with him one day just to see what his job was like. And he said, "Yeah, man, absolutely." And I did it that one day and was absolutely hooked after that. They ended up hiring me to kind of be sort of a gopher, carry all type of guy. I would go out with all the news crews all the time. And that was when I started just developing a love and an eye for visual storytelling. Um, it was physical, it was something new all the time. I then learned how to shoot, um, make pictures, make imagery. And I got enough of a reel together and applied for a job at a small market TV station in Reno and got it and moved to Salinas. After that one, Salinas, California, and then back to San Francisco. And I started as a freelancer back at CBS San Francisco, and then they hired me staff. And then after that, I was rolling, and I thought, oh man, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And about 7 years in, I just started to not want to do it every day. It was the constant travel. I was traveling all over the world. So I started looking for ways out and ended up applying for a job at Nike in Portland, Oregon as a producer director. But the inkling to tell longer stories hit. And I started trying to figure out a way into television and was fortunate enough to find a program at CBS called the Diversity Director Initiative, and they're looking for people of color and females. And if you got into the program, you would shadow on shows, and at the time, hopefully, you'd meet people and meet showrunners, and they would take a liking to you. And the first show that I shadowed on was God Friended Me, where I met Brian Winbrandt and Stephen Lillian, who were the creators of the show. And I just had a great time shadowing on the show. I was a fan of the show already. I had seen every episode, and the director at the time, Gregory Smith, who I was shadowing, he would be able to come to me, and I'd be able to fill him in on exactly where these characters are at in the story and the show. And so it's sort of just a great experience. And that was a show that I ended up booking based on the success of my shadow. And I shadowed on Hawaii Five-0. I shadowed on a show called FBI and another show called NCIS New Orleans. And I booked NCIS New Orleans right after God Friended Me. And then, from there, it was just tenacity and, you know, utilizing my Johnny Thornton ways of not harassing people, but, staying in their purview.
That's right.
And, that led to other episodes and to more episodes and to meeting more showrunners and, more studio executives. And, your reputation follows you in this business. That's the thing. If you do something somewhere that's good, you'll get a chance to continue working and doing other shows. If you do something somewhere that's bad, all of a sudden it's like your career is in jeopardy. So, fortunately, knock on wood, I've just been rolling and continuing to work on other shows and having other opportunities. I have not directed a pilot yet. That's something that I really want to do. And, I still really want to direct, executive produce and direct my own show, something that I create.
Coming soon.
Yes,
That's
definitely coming soon.
Coming soon. It's amazing to me because you sharing that I've never heard that story of how you got your start, but like it's very similar to my path because I got my start in local television as well, and shifted from that. Like I wanted to do more long form storytelling. I'm sorry, getting tongue tied here, but I wanted to do more long form storytelling, and so we got together and we started doing like short films and then started writing our own pilots for like television shows and feature films. And so I love you sharing that because it just lets me know that I think we're all going down the right path.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I want to ask you this, Lionel. So with all that you've done in your career so far, how did that influence your approach to storytelling?
Bruce, you mentioned local news, local television. I still to this day rely on so many things I've learned as a news cameraman. Uh, I think that every experience that I have done has shaped the filmmaker that I am today. And when I hear people who want to get into this business, I think that there'll be a million pathways in. But I think that everything I did in local television, local news, as a commercial director, as a cinematographer, which I still am, and even as an editor, which I still do, these are all things that I take with me and keep in my toolkit so that they can serve me um, to the best of my ability. And they really help to forge, I think, the heightened intensity that I bring to my work and to my episodes still to this day.
That's right.
Yes,
Lionel, let me ask
sir.
you this. As you look back over your career and you think back on all the accomplishments, what are some of the things that you're most proud of?
I think the very first episode of television that I did was God Friended Me. And my wife says, "Hey, we should like screen this, have a screening party." And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So she rented this theater in our neighborhood, and we actually gathered, I don't know, maybe 50 friends to come and watch the episode. And for me, it was a proud moment. I think that we're all constantly evolving as people in our careers. Like Carrie Preston, the star of Elsbeth, posted a picture of her and I together from the season finale and just said nice things about me. Those are the moments there that I guess I'm touched by the most.
Yeah, I mean, I just love your work, man.
Same here, man.
I mean, you're one of my favorite directors, and to have the opportunity to say I know you is here, Bruce.
Oh yeah,
I feel it, man.
I mean, it just makes us proud just to be able to say that like we know you and we're seeing your work and we're just seeing how you're growing in this business and industry and just continuing to keep on trucking, man.
Yeah, man. So,
Well, I'm trying, and thank you too very, very much. Your support um, always means a ton to me. And I know that you guys will watch things sometimes, shows that you don't normally watch just because I did it. So I appreciate you.
as far as up and coming directors or people who are trying to break into this industry, what type of advice would you give to someone?
The first thing I would do is have them contact Johnny and Bruce uh, and read their Bible, their playbook, because there's no such thing as no or you can't with you two. For me, I would tell any young filmmaker, obviously be persistent, be driven, but learn how to do everything. Don't specialize in any one thing. I mean, I wanted to be a cinematographer. I wanted to be a feature film cinematographer. It didn't happen, but I was able to pivot. But I think knowledge is power, and if you're doing multiple jobs, um, to me, that will assist you 9 times out of 10 in whatever you're going to do professionally in this business.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I say the same thing about Bruce. When it comes to working on a set, Bruce can do every job that's out there. Now he don't let me hold the camera that often. Now he'll let me hold a boom mic or anything like that. But Bruce can do any and everything on a set. It amazes me.
I
I tell him
agree.
all the time, man, you're gonna have to teach me how to do some of this so I can take some of it off your hands. He only lets me write and produce. Create, that's all the stuff that he lets me do. Everything else, Bruce don't allow me to do it.
It's like, but
Yes,
similar to you, Lionel, I just had to learn like everything. Like I went to every department. I had to learn like everything because like, especially like these days, I think the more you know, it's not like it was back in the day where you can just know this one thing or have this one gift and just be able to make your way or have a career doing that. You have to know everything. And I think that's something that we all can apply and just learn. Just go to every department, learn as much as we can, and just keep that with us on this journey.
no doubt about it. And I've seen, JT, you talk about Bruce. I'll never forget when I watched the little film clip that he cut uh, to serve as sort of like a sizzle reel for Cold Six, and I was like, "Oh my God, where did you get all of these clips, and how did you blend them all together like this?" But in addition to his skills as an editor and cinematographer, you know, you can sit there and create a pitch deck too. You go to work in InDesign and Photoshop and but these are, things that I think a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to do and delve into. So, um yeah, I am always inspired by others, and like I'll look at you and go, okay, he did that. I want to try to do that too and be better than that. So, but that's just me, and I'll always try to keep evolving. I think when I worked at Nike, this one marketing guy had in his office this giant sign that said "Innovate or Die," and that's still kind of my method of operation every single time out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lionel, man, we appreciate you being our first guest. Amazing interview, man. You just don't know how much we really appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah. You're truly an inspiration
yes,
to
you are.
us. We truly appreciate your friendship, all your guidance that you've given to us. And, we look forward to, working with you in the future on hopefully
Code
6.
Code
Yeah.
6.
Yes, indeed.
So
Yes,
please stay
indeed.
tuned. Stay tuned for Code 6 coming up. But again, we appreciate you for joining us today, and wish you all the success in the world on everything that's coming up.
Well, thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Johnny. And I love the fact that we have this friendship and this collaboration. And I think that the strikes and COVID probably put a damper on our Cold Six project, but I don't think it's dead. I think that people are going to see that on television, and I look forward to watching all of our names appear at the same time.
That's
That's
right,
right.
man. Same here.
From your lips to God's ears.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So stay tuned because next we have 2 snaps.
All right.